You only have 7 seconds to make a great first impression on somebody. And within those 7 seconds, they've decided if you're someone worth collaborating with or not. Knowing we only have that tiny little window, how do we make sure that we leave a great first impression with everybody we meet? It's a really tough thing, honestly, but I think the best way you can do this is to go into every meeting, every time you meet someone new, with an others-oriented attitude. Go into that conversation not looking for what you can get from them, but what you have to offer to somebody else. And that even starts with your elevator speech. You have to have an elevator speech. It is the foundation of meeting somebody new for everything. But that elevator speech needs to be others-oriented as well. I heard on a podcast somewhere, and I can't exactly remember where, but the guy basically gave a formula for an elevator speech, and it says, who is it you're trying to help, and how are you trying to help them? That should be your elevator speech. So mine looks like this. I am trying to help other retail workers find ways to change the world that matter. And basically, if you're somebody who's in retail and you're looking to make a change in the world that matters, I might be someone that you want to talk to, and I can try to help add that value to you. So you've got to have that, because that's the conversation piece that tells what you have to offer. So sit down and write up that elevator speech. And if you need any help with it, send me a message and we can try to work through that together. I can send you some podcasts or some tips on that. But an elevator speech is foundational, and you have to use it all the time. Every time you're introducing yourself, or when someone says, tell me about yourself, or somebody says, what do you do for a living, or what's your job? That's when you pop in your elevator speech. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm Zach Lonis, I'm a store manager. When someone says, Zach, what do you do for a living? I say, I help retail workers find ways to change the world that matter. And that usually prompts a question, oh, how do you do that? And then we get into a conversation that allows me to find ways that I can add value back to them, and sets up for a future collaboration where we can work with each other on something, and I can probably get back from them the same way that I can give to them, because it's a collaboration that's mutually beneficial. So build that foundation with a great elevator speech, but first and foremost, you have to be others focused, looking for how you can give and how you can serve other people instead of how you can get from them. And if you do that, you're going to have the right way that you carry yourself. You're going to have the confidence, because if you go into a conversation looking for, well, how do I get them to like me? How do I get them to buy from me? You're going to be nervous, and that's going to show. But if you know you have something to offer to people, you're going to be confident. And confidence really matters too, because you've only got 7 seconds. And within those 7 seconds, the way that you carry yourself is going to tell if you're confident or not, if you're confident in what you have to offer, or if you're still trying to figure it out. So know what you can offer, know your value, because you have something that everyone else needs, and be able to share what that is. The other piece of it is that same thing, but flipped around. Everybody you meet has something that you need as well. They have a story to share with you. They have a lesson that you can learn. They have an idea that you need to hear, or they have advice for you that you absolutely need in your life. And if you remember that when you go talk to people, that's also going to help, because it's going to remind you that there's not a single person that you meet that can't add value back to you. That means if it's the maintenance person or the CEO, everybody has something worth value to you that you can learn from. And when you go in treating people as other people, others oriented, looking for ways to learn from them and ways to contribute back to them with the collaboration, you're going to carry yourself in the right way. That's what it really boils down to, is how are you focused on people, or are you just focused on yourself? And someone who's focused on yourself, you can see right through it. And when you meet somebody within those 7 seconds, you can tell that the way they carry themselves, the way they introduce themselves, every little thing, you can tell this is a person who's only looking for what they can get from me. And no one wants to collaborate with that person in the future. So be others oriented. The last piece of it is practice. Go out there and meet as many new people, practice your elevator speech, write it down, say it out loud. And again, don't have an elevator speech that sounds like it's been written down and something that you're rehearsing all the time. It can't be something with a lot of jargon that you use. It's got to sound natural. I would really honestly say to somebody, I am somebody who works with retail workers and tries to inspire them to change the world in ways that matter. That's something I would say in a casual conversation. I'm not going to try to use a bunch of big words and sound smarter than I am or any of that. It needs to be a layman's term type of a conversation. So get that elevator speech, practice it, share it with other people, tweak it, and then go from there. But again, the key to this really is when you meet somebody else, they have something to add of value to you, and you have something to add of value to them. And you need to find ways to learn what they can offer you and share what you can offer them to create a foundation for a future collaboration. You do that, and focus on the other person and how you can add to them. And you're going to find that you make a great first impression every time. You're going to carry yourself differently. You're going to talk differently. You're even going to shake hands with somebody differently if that's what you're focused on. And it's going to leave the first impression that matters and the one that you want. If you need any advice on this, on an elevator speech, or what that looks like, or even if you just want to practice your elevator speech on somebody, send me a message. We can set up a phone call, whatever you want to do. But I am here to help with this as well, and I am not an expert by any means. And I also don't believe you can make a great first impression with every single person, because some people just don't like meeting other people, and that's just the way they are. But you can at least leave that impression that you're an others-oriented, open to collaboration type of a person, and that's really the key to it. So shoot me a message, leave any feedback or comments, and as always, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I always appreciate your feedback and ways for me to get better at this. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.